Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Minecraft adventure. This is where we left off in the last video. We'd found a ore deposit where I'm just gonna continue digging that out, because one can never have too much coal, as it's pretty useful. However, I got a little bit of a sneak attack surprise from a creeper, and that certainly startled me, but luckily he exploded above my head and didn't deal any meaningful or long-lasting damage, so that was pretty convenient that nothing really happened there. So we just continue through grabbing the rest of this coal, and we get a pretty decent amount out of it. 18 pieces of coal is certainly nothing to laugh at. So the next thing we do is we come back over here to our beach. As you've seen before, we still need a lot of sand for this project, so I'm gathering as much as I can with my stone shovel here. And as I'm digging around, a bit of a hole opens up here, which might be interesting to go exploring at some point in the future. But for now, we're just gonna focus on harvesting some more of our sand until our shovel breaks. So we'll continue mining out the rest of this sand by hand. It's going to go a little bit slower. I did find it a little interesting how the coastline continues to creep up along here as we mine out the sand, and as we continue cleaning out the sand over here on our left, eventually I expect that coastline to fully come up to the grass here. But by the time we got that little section finished, it was getting pretty dark, so I wanted to make sure that we could get home to some shelter, craft any additional tools that we might need, and then go ahead and get back into bed and wait for the next morning to come around. Now I finally open up my map here and create that. That will allow me to place that in my shield slot, so I can have that pendant and help myself navigate a little bit. I'm not overly reliant on the map at this point, where I know pretty much everything that I want to do. So let's go ahead and deposit our ore into our furnace here and start crafting some of our sand into glass. If I were smart, I would have done that last night before I woke up, or before I went to bed, I should say. But as we come outside, there's a little bit of a zombie waiting for us with the gold hat, or gold helmet. And I'm hoping that he drops that helmet when he finally dies, but sadly, he doesn't. So back out into the natural world and running around, we go ahead and kill that chicken for some food that we can cook up later. I do need some more wood for some sticks, so I go ahead and harvest down a couple of trees, grab a couple of these sheep as well, so we can build up our wool supply, and they drop a pretty decent amount of mutton, or for lamb chops and consumption as well. So that's certainly nothing to laugh at. Now as I come back home to make a few adjustments to my inventory, there is a fully gold armored zombie just chilling at the front door. And he startles me a little bit, gets a hit in, but once we get him into a rhythm, we're certainly able to go ahead and just take him out. And he drops some gold boots. So let's not waste too much time. Get inside where it's a little bit more safe, and let's just jump right into it and throw those puppies on, because some armor is better than no armor. Even though these are pretty badly damaged, it provides some protection, additional protection that we didn't have before, so who's going to complain about that? Continuing through here, I'm looking for a few more animals that I can use to beef up my arsenal. And with these cows here, I'm really hoping that some of them start dropping some leather, so I can use those for crafting some additional armor items. And as I'm looking around here, I see some flowers that I want to pick, and lo and behold, a tiny little zombie gremlin runs up. And I don't like these guys, because they're really small and they're pretty hard to hit, especially with the decently limited controls that I have using a PlayStation controller. But taking a couple more hits, he finally does go down, and he drops an enchanted chest plate with some unbreaking enchantment on it, which I'm certainly not going to complain about. En route back home, we find a few more cows. This one does drop some leather for us, so that'll be nice for eventually crafting some more armor. As I haven't really gone mining just yet to find any other advanced building materials. We take a bit of an alternate route, get back to our little wall side hut here. And as we get inside, we craft a few chests to hold the vast majority of our inventory here, carve ourselves out a little hole in the wall where we can place those chests and deposit all of the goods that we really don't need to be lugging around all of the time. So this is where I rediscover a little bit of the quick move option. So we do go ahead and pop a lot of these things through. I don't know why I crafted a loom, but we'll have to use that eventually. So I do need to cook up some more of my food here. So we'll go ahead and pull my sand and glass out of the furnace there. Place a piece of glass there just to test it. It'll work for what we need to. So we'll go ahead and leave it there and deposit the rest into our chest. And upon falling asleep, we wake up the next morning to some food that has been cooked and prepped for us from the furnace. So we can go ahead and pull that out. And we'll go ahead and leave some of our beef there to cook while we're away this time around. Now, as I'm walking around here, this is a couple of clicks over from where our hut is, and I find this little area that I think is just prime for starting our mine. So I dig a little crevice into the cliff here. We'll build a little doorway into the mine and set up some torches on either side. That will allow us to more easily find this if we ever come here under a little bit more cloud cover, if you will. And as we dig the mine back a little bit deeper, we'll be able to set up our oak door here at the front to provide some protection back behind. And that will allow us to start digging downwards in kind of a slant or a slope. And as we continue digging through here, I'm really hoping that I can find some ore, for some iron or other items that I really kind of need to start building some better tools. Find another vein of some coal here, which we'll go through and dig out to its entirety. But other than that, we still haven't found anything else that's really of particular interest. So grabbing the last bit of coal from this little vein that we found, we end up with 26, which is certainly nothing to laugh at. Place a torch there just in case. I don't expect a monster to spawn, but you certainly don't want to run that risk. As we continue downwards, we actually find another ore vein, or a coal vein. So we'll go ahead and collect some more coal out of this, and by the time we're done digging through this vein of coal, our total in our on-hand inventory is up to 48, so a pretty substantial little contribution from the coal. Place a little bit of dorite there because it's really not good for much else. Switch our torches around and we go continuing further down because we've got to get down to about the 12 level before we even have a chance of finding diamonds at a reasonable rate. Here's finally where we start running into some of our iron, and we'll go ahead and clean the rest of this out. And I'm a little bit concerned about being able to find the whole of it, especially where my stone pickaxe is on the verge of breaking. But luckily, this does end up being the last of the iron ore. I take a quick glance around just to double check, and we've got to get out of here because that was the last stone axe that I had. So we make our way back home to reset for the night and kind of refresh ourselves. We'll go ahead and pull the beef out of the furnace that we left before and go ahead and set some of the lamb chops in there. So we take a little bit more rest, and upon waking up the next morning, we head right back over to our mine. And upon walking in, nice sunny blue day outside, and by the time I get down to the bottom of the mine, I'm interrupted by this thunderous crack that you just heard there. So I want to go up and investigate what's going on. And on my way up, I start hearing it again. And I'm at first wondering, well, what's going on? Am I running into some lightning or what's going on around here? And it continues to go even while I'm climbing up these stairs. And upon reaching the door, I find that the sunny blue day that we had has devolved into a pretty nasty thunderstorm. And not that I'm too concerned about it, but I don't want to have to compete with the elements because monsters can come out a little bit more prevalently without the nightfall here. So I am going to go ahead and run back home, just where I can bide things out a little bit until the circumstances and climate get better. So we'll go ahead and pick up here, hopefully with a little bit more of sunshine and sunlight as we continue our hunt for some diamonds and other resources. So we'll just grab this gray sheep and head into the shelter. And thanks again for watching and for accompanying me on this journey. If you're excited about the future installments of this series, it will be going on every Saturday. So feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Until then, thanks for watching, and you have yourself a great rest of your day.